the Spirit of the living God. You are the Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost, the center of the King of Kings. You are the Holy Ghost. The seal of the ocean come, bringing everything in obedience to you. Transforming everyone, transforming in obedience to Christ. Oh, changing our lives, changing everything in obedience to Christ. Oh, changing everything in obedience to Christ. All I need is you. All I need is you. All I
in marriages. Anything that blossoms is always preserved and not destroyed. In Isaiah 65 and verse number 8, thus says the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all. Joseph interpreted the dreams of the butler and that of the baker while he was in prison. 3 days after the interpretation, the butler was restored to his place of honor while the baker was killed. The content of their dreams made the great difference in their individual outcomes. In Genesis 40 verse 9 to verse 13, so the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to Joseph, in my dream I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. This is what it means, Joseph said to him. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. A blossom branch of ripened grapes speaks of restoration. Get ready, because your marriage will encounter the restoration program of the Father. The speed with which the butler was restored shall be the portion of our marriages this week. Blossoming rods are templates of the supernatural or the God factor. A wasteland can be fruitful overnight when God is involved. There's absolutely nothing impossible with God, as we all know. In Isaiah 35 and verse number 1, the wilderness and the dry land shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. Couples must embrace the God factor in all of their dealings to see their marital rods bud and blossom. The God factor speaks of God's care. It speaks of God's interest, God's agenda, and God's will for your marriage. Most couples run their marriage without the input of God. This is the height of foolishness. In Psalm 127 verse 1 to verse 2, unless the Lord builds the house, the builder labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. It is God's greatest wish and utmost desire to see all marriages bud and blossom, producing varieties of ripe fruits across the globe. This is absolutely possible when we learn to